Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Blake here at Trade Tracer. In this week's video, we are going to get you prepared for next week's trading session. I'm going to blast through some of my favorite trade setups. Let's go ahead and get into it. As you guys know, none of this is financial advice. Always invest at your own risk. If you want some free signals, make sure you click that link down in the description. I'm going to be linking my signal group in Telegram. Free signals, go ahead and hop in there. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. You guys can see I have the S&P 500, the SPY pulled up here on a monthly chart. As always, I like to start on the higher time frames to get a better idea of what's happening in the market. So one of the things that I wanted to point out here is these highs that we made back in January of 2018. You can see this RSI down here. It's a relative strength index. You can see the RSI was kind of selling off, was fading. It wasn't selling off, it was fading. The momentum was losing some momentum, and we continue to make new highs. Now on a monthly time frame, on a higher time frame, that should have been a signal to us that we don't have the strength that we used to, and some downside is to be expected. Obviously that downside happened with the COVID-19, but you can see we are back above the highs that we made back in 2018. Still below this 10 SMA. You can see this is right around that 300 level. Keep a close eye on that because there is a confluence on the daily time frame with that 300 level. Let's go ahead and move to the weekly time frame. On the monthly, things don't look great. We are recovering a little bit, but we still need to clear above that 300 level, that 10 SMA, in order for me to feel really comfortable about this market. Now, the weekly is starting to look really nice. I posted in our group that we do have rules to trade on the weekly time frame. We have price strength confirmation above this candle that broke above this 10 SMA. So that's a very positive signal. You can see we closed right around that 292.5 area. Didn't quite take out the previous week's highs, but this is a very strong bullish candle. And we did confirm price strength above the candle that broke the 10 SMA. So I'm very positive on the weekly time frame. The NASDAQ is even stronger. The NASDAQ looks great. Now, if we move over to the daily time frame, you can see that we're holding above this 10 SMA. The RSI is above that 50 level, so we do have some nice strength on that. And so we are actually long quite a few positions. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out was that 300 level. And the reason I bring that up is because it does coincide with the 200-day moving average on the daily time frame. And you can see that that's this line right here. You can see that's right around that 300 level. That would be my price target heading into next week. I do think, this momentum does continue to the upside. We probably test this 300 level, and that's going to be a very important level that we're testing, because not only are we testing the 200-day moving average on the daily time frame, we're also testing that 10 SMA on the monthly time frame. So that's going to be a do or die level for me anyways, as to how I am positioning my capital in my investment portfolio, my long-term investment portfolio. I think it's important to have two separate types of accounts. I believe if you're a trader, you should probably have some sort of trading account. And also for long-term wealth building, you need to have an investment account as well. So that's the approach that we take in our trading group, in our investment group. We do have two separate silos of that. Right now, we are actually doing very well in some of the trade setups that I really like. Just going to blast through some of these really quickly. Obviously, you guys know your typical FANG stocks, your Facebook, your Amazon, your Netflix. I'm not going to go through those because that's what everybody is, looking at. But one of my favorites is Disney. All right. Now, I want to highlight some really cool tools that I'm using here. And I'm using TrendSpider. If you guys haven't checked them out yet, I highly recommend it. They've got a phenomenal platform. It really helps you get an edge and find your edge. There's so many different technical analysis tools that are available on the site. I really highly recommend you guys go check them out. TrendSpider.com. Check them out. The guys are great there. So what I have here is an anchored VWAP. This is a average volume, weighted volume, average price. Okay, so what's cool about this tool is you can anchor that. You can pick a point in time and say, okay, from here, I want to know, where's the volume weighted average price. Okay, so that's a very important tool. It's a very powerful tool to have at your disposal. And I believe they actually have, the proprietary rights to that. So if you haven't checked them out, please go ahead and check those guys out. Like I said, they're awesome. So I've anchored this VWAP from this candle. As you can see, this is kind of a very important day that we had here. This was a bearish engulfing candle and from kind of sold off, right? So you can see on Friday, we actually came back, tested this level nicely, and pushed off of that with the RSI moving higher. That to me was a very important level to hold, and that's what got us long in the trading account. So, excuse me. We actually did take this trade long. We have some options on Disney. I think it has a lot of room to run. A couple of my other favorites include Tilray. Now, obviously, these are some pot stocks. Think about it. The marijuana industry remained open the entire time during COVID-19. So, what were people doing? They were drinking alcohol, smoking pot. It's pretty simple here. So, once again, I have this VWAP anchored from the highs back here, and you can't really see it because I actually have a trigger set up for this. Now you can see that we're kind of wedged in between this. This is a very important level, and if we break above this level, which is right around the 8.4 level, that would be good enough for me to go ahead and take this for a swing long. You can see the RSI is ticking up, so that's also a very powerful move that we're watching. Finally, the EAT is the ticker, and this is bars and restaurants, right? Same theme here. We're starting to open back up across the United States, and you can see that we have this other very awesome tool that I really like, which is the volume by price. So you can actually move this indicator, you can move this bar wherever you like, and it's similar to the VWAP, but you can anchor it, or not anchor it, but you can place it at any point in time that you like and see, okay, where have most of the shares traded hands starting from this point. All right, so starting from November 6th, where have most of the shares traded hands? What's the price level that provides support? Where's the supply and demand on this? And you can see it nicely charts it out for you right here. And once we broke below that, and you can see this is where people were continuing to accumulate, continuing to buy. We weren't breaking down here. Broke through it, had this massive jump, came back, and if I pull up the 10 SMA, we bounced right off the 10 SMA right here. Nice area that it should bounce if it's strong enough, and it did. So we actually did take this for another swing long on Friday because it's one of my favorites that I'm watching. And we had a phenomenal trade in space, Virgin Galactic. I posted this chart in Twitter. If you guys follow me on Twitter, if you don't, go ahead and follow the handle Trade Tracer on Twitter. Post a lot of charts in there, some of my thoughts, but you can see from the IPO price. Okay, so this is back here. Sorry, I moved myself. That was right over in the beginning of November, end of October. Okay, so that was when Virgin Galactic IPO'd. So since the IPO date, the majority of the shares have traded hands in this 17.5 area, okay? So this was the demand zone. This is where people were buying shares. This is where demand is occurring. And you can see once we broke above, the 10 SMA, we had some strength on the RSI into this demand zone, and the market started to pick up. We had a phenomenal push higher above the 20 level. Now, my target is this area up here in this 25, 27 area. We are holding some leaps on this. So that's also one of my favorite trades that I'm liking going into the weekend. And obviously, let's go ahead and wrap up with the SPY. Now, we've kind of been in this chop level, this chop zone. But once again, if we pull this this indicator here, if I can grab it, here we go. Pull it from the highs that we made back on February 19th. You can see it's pretty simple, guys. We were trading in this chop zone, if you can call it that. It is a chop zone, but guess what? This is where the demand was. This is the point of control, okay? So once the bulls started to get some more bids, guess where we bounced from? Right here, right? This point of control, this level in here, the 280, 278 area. This was a level of demand where buyers were stepping in. So this is a very powerful tool. You can only get it on TrendSpider. Highly recommend it. This was a powerful reversal candle that we had earlier in the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday closed higher. So I do expect this to probably make a run up to this 300 level, because that is, as you guys know, where this 200 SMA is hanging out. So once we get there, if we get there, that's going to be a very critical level for the S&P 500 and the overall direction of the stock market. So I like to trade in alignment with the overall stock market. So if the S&P is starting to fail, then I'm going to be moving into cash, gold, bonds, wherever the trends are. But if it starts to break out of this 200 level, it might be a phenomenal area to go ahead and load up on some of your longer term positions. Okay, so that's all that I have for you guys today. Make sure you go ahead and click the like and subscribe in the bottom. Don't forget to check out tradetracer.io, and I will see you guys again back here next week. Take care.